Hello everyone, fellow Toastmaster guests. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depend on where you are in. Fabulous Friday. I am Nur Hashim, member of the Singapore International Online English Toastmaster Club in Singapore. It is my pleasure to serve as your Toastmaster this meeting. The topic of our meeting is preparation. I quote from Mike Tyson. He says, everyone has good plan until they get punched in the mouth. What I have learned from the peak performer is, along with visualizing success, they also prepare for potential problem. Ladies and gentlemen, this experience reminded me that no matter what you decide to achieve, never underestimate the value of preparation. Here is why. The quality of your preparation will influence the quality of your performance. When you are fully prepared, you can best utilize every possible resource needed to fulfill your potential. The best way to increase your level of confidence is to increase your level of preparation. Ladies and gentlemen, before we run the meeting, we will listen the opening speech from our President Club, Singapore International Online English Toastmaster, Willie Low. Over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. As the saying goes, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. A leader's responsibility is to help their organization and the people they serve to grow and prosper. This is how you learn scientifically. Successful leadership is the ability to create and sustain enough momentum to ensure that the marketplace and the competitors don't pass you by. This requires leaders to prepare for the future, while equally stay on the point with the pressure. The constant distraction in our daily lives make it difficult for leaders to do both. Yet with solid preparation, what seems impossible becomes highly possible. Preparation is the key to evaluation and able to avoid such situation. In this state, when leaders fear preparation, where an opportunity is missed, is offered because leaders did not prepare themselves on their employer well enough to see and seize it. Preparation demands accountability and is an individual responsibility with so many independent factors. Every leader sees through a different lens. Therefore, they should know what are the short and long-term preparation. Demands are for their employees and the businesses to be successful. But if a leader falls short in their ability to prepare correctly, with proper timing, and that the negative implication on the business will become equally apparent. Fellow Toastmaster, do you plan your speaking 4 weeks before the next meeting, or do you plan it on every Monday or Tuesday of the week? If you do it, you are not prepared. And that's why your speeches, you may not be able to give up a good one. So be prepared to plan out what you want to speak in the next 4 weeks or 3 months so that you are able to give a good speech and evaluator can give you a better feedback so that you can improve. Over back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, I agree. The preparation is very important for our business in personal life or in professional life. And we can do it if we have specific goal and rational goal. Ladies and gentlemen, I will introduce our team. The meeting is divided into rounds. The first is the topic round, where members can practice thinking and speaking on their feet. This round is also known the impromptu speech section. Guests are welcome to participate in this round as well. And the second part of the session is the prepared speech round, where members will be deliver speech based on the project and part that they have chosen. The last session is the evaluation round, in which all the prepared speech as well as other aspects of the session will be evaluated by evaluator. First of all, I would like to introduce our team. Our timer is DTM Alicia Chia. She is happy, go-lucky person who enjoy life. I'm to live in the moment, create memories, and enjoy the journey more than the destination. Her hobbies are playing saxophone, digital photography, sport, and being a tourist within her own country. She is a Vice President Education and Treasurer of Singapore Online Toastmaster Club. Could you explain your role to attendee, please?
Yes, sure. Toastmaster of the day, Ahmad. Very good afternoon to very good evening to club president, guests, and fellow members. I will be serving as the timer, and my duty is to time the prepared speeches, table topics, and speech evaluations. And also keep the program in time. So for instance, when the time comes to a minimum allocated time, I will flash the green screen. And when it comes to the midpoint, I'll flash the yellow screen. And when it flashes to the end of the speech, I will flash a red screen. And then the speaker will have 30 seconds to end. And at the end of the program, I will report the speaking times at the end. And so back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Alicia. The next is our counter. We have our counter. What? Please introduce yourself and please explain your role. Toastmaster Karan.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Karan Gandhi, and I am our counter for the today's meeting. For the benefit of our guests and new members, I would like to explain the role of our counter. When we speak, we sometimes use filler words such as or we repeat phrases such as you know, I mean. A lot of times, these are not evident to us, but it is very clear to the listener. The our counter helps us polish our language by identifying these fillers. The purpose of our counter is threefold. First, to note words or sounds used as crutch. These words may be inappropriate interjections such as and, well, but, so, you know. Sounds may be Second, to note long pauses, which are often used as fillers. Third, to note when a speaker repeats a word or a phrase such as I, or this means. I will present my report at the end of the meeting. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Over to you.
Okay, Master Khan. The next is our top table topic master. She is Toastmaster Lee Buckley. She is from Sydney, also from Taurus TMC in Sydney, Club University. Toastmaster Lee Buckley, could you explain your duty and maybe you have good experience? What is power of preparation in your career, in your life? Maybe you can tell a short story about it.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the evening. Good day, Mr. Club President, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My role as the Table Topics Master tonight is to challenge you to be prepared, or shall we say in this case, unprepared for impromptu speaking. I will give you a topic, so I will urge you to look at my virtual screen later. I'll give you a topic and a few seconds to prepare. And that if you can speak off the cuff, that would help you to improve your impromptu speaking skills tonight. Later, more about that later. For now, if I could share with you how I prepare for life, well, COVID-19 gave us something that we were unprepared for, but we carry on with life. What I'm unprepared or prepared to do these days is whether I was prepared to press the snooze button or the off button on my alarm every morning when it rings. I've gotten so used to walking 2 minutes to work at the moment that I thought, well, I don't have to travel 2 hours. I've got 2 extra hours of sleep. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lee Buckley. Yeah, sometimes we face accident or unwanted event, but we have to ready to face it. Ladies and gentlemen, the first session is table topic master. We are entering the table topic segment. We are going to practice impromptu speech style. It is going to be run by our table topic master, Toastmaster Lee Buckley. Please join me in welcoming our table topic master, Lee Buckley. Over to you, Toastmaster Lee Buckley.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the evening, Toastmaster Ahmad Nur Hashim. Ladies and gentlemen, are you prepared to take on the challenge of impromptu speaking? Please wave your hands if you're ready. Remember, if you don't volunteer, you'll be voluntold. Tonight's theme is on preparation. What I would be doing tonight is to challenge you in 2 parts. Whether you be prepared or unprepared for these segments. For part 1, it will be the usual. I will display a topic, a question, a quote, a picture. You have 1 minute to speak before the light turns green. 1.5 minutes, the light will turn yellow. And then at 2 minutes, the light will turn red. At the 2.5 minutes mark, Madam Timer will display some signal to indicate that your time is up. Are you ready? Now, my first victim for tonight is, I'll be nice to you. I am prepared for the worst, but hope for the best, by Benjamin Disraeli. I am prepared for the worst, but hope for the best. May I please welcome Corey to answer this. Please welcome Corey. You are muted, Corey.
Muted.
Am I? Okay. Are you able to hear my voice?
Yes, we are now.
Okay. Good evening, Toastmaster of the day and everyone. For the topic, I'm prepared for the worst but hope for the best. I think it's the quote that we often hear in everyday life. Currently in my life, it could happen to my own experience. Like my dad currently is sick and is in hospital. So recently I have been, my emotion has been up and down because I have to prepare for the worst to happen. If let's say he cannot coping with the illness, he might pass away anytime soon. So in this case, I have to mentally be prepared for the worst, but at the same time, I also hope for the best. If let's say there is a way, or there is a way, there is a good way for him to recover, although the chances is very small. So yeah, I encourage everybody to still hoping for the best, or still hoping, expect the good, even though we are in the very dark situation or in the very difficult situation. We should keep our hope alive. So yeah, in my own experience, I really learned a lot, and this quote is really just nice happened to me. Yeah, so this is from my own experience.
Thank you, Corey, for sharing your experience with us. We do wish your dad a speedy recovery, and as you mentioned, we hope for the best. Thank you again for sharing your story with us. Our second victim, do we have a volunteer? Oh, I could see Muhammad Noor Siddiq, I think. Is that how we pronounce your name? You have just volunteered.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
This is Nu. This is Nu. Hello,
No,
I'm a
is
guest.
it Nu? Yeah.
It's
How are
Nu.
you, Nu? Welcome. I will give you a choice since you're a guest. Would you pick a number, please, from 1 to 10?
All right. I'll choose 5.
5? Excellent. Excellent choice. Nu?
All
Are
right.
you prepared for rainy days? Are you prepared for rainy days?
All right. So first of all, a very hello to all the Toastmasters. I'm a guest today, and this is the first meeting that I'm joining today. I'm a student of business management in India. I'm from India. So usually I'll relate it to my experience. Usually when I go to school or when I used to go to college, I was not that much prepared about the climate. I was not that much aware of the weather. So there are times when I was on the way and it used to rain, and the entire, my clothes, my bag, my bottles, everything used to get wet. And when I used to be in the school, when I used to reach in school, it was really, I used to be like, how I'm going to deal with this? Everything is now wet. So initially, my mom and my father used to advise me that today it's a cloudy season. There are clouds. You better go take umbrella with you. And then when I got a bit mature, when I started going to college, I started, whenever I see that it's a cloudy season, there are clouds, I used to take umbrella with me. I used to get a sense of the monsoon season. So that's why I used to do these things. And I think once you get mature, you'll have that sense that you can get to know that whether today it's going to be rainy season or not. So you do basic preparation before you start going out. For example, when you go out of go for office, or you go to college or for your studies, you'll have a sense that what is going to be there. So you carry your basic kits with you so that you can protect yourself from rainy days, because it can also affect your health, right? So whenever you go outside, make sure that you have all the basic things with you so that you can protect yourself. But there's also enjoyment of rainy seasons. It gives you a sense of pleasure. Rainy days are also like blissful days. So yes, thank you. Over
Thank
to
you.
Toastmaster.
Thank you, No, for reminding us to be prepared at all times. Yeah. Thank you, No. Our next speaker, let me see. Before anything happens, okay, or before anything else, preparation is the key to success. According to Alexander Graham Bell, before anything else, preparation is the key to success. Please welcome Abdul Karimi. Abdul Karimi, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. Okay, what was your question again?
Before anything else, preparation is the key to success.
preparation. Sometimes we are not prepared in our lives, but mentally we always have to be prepared. Because even if you're physically strong and healthy or in bed, at least you have your mind, your brain, while you're in the bed laying down. So you always have to have strong mind, strong goals, strong vision, and always have to be positive in good times and bad times. No matter what comes to you, you just have to stay positive and have faith. That's the only way you can really be prepared for success. Because success is only through faith. And faith beats everything, because without faith, there's no success. So to you guys, always be ready mentally, because your mind is everything. Without your mind, you are nothing. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abdul Karimi. Thank you again for reminding us, always be prepared. Our next speaker, I'll give you a moment to digest. Have you ever felt this? Well, I feel this all the time anyway. Please share your experience with us. Toastmaster Uncle Mango.
Uncle Mango has always feel stressed whenever he always sees a lot of interesting things happening, because the power of the mango is sometimes when you feel stressed, you just maybe need some tomatoes, potatoes, bananas, chicken wings, just to release the stress. So life is just about finding the right thing in life and counting down the chickens in life, because when you find the chicken in life, you can find interesting things. Yes, and Corey must be wondering, why am I the mango today? I just feel, if I feel the mood of being the life like mango. So when you feel stressed, you just need to eat the fruits, and just eat the fruits that you can feel relaxed. So life is just being like a mango. So when you have some nice, and by the way, I chose mango because I have mango yogurts in the fridge. And too bad our yogurt girl is not in tonight meeting today. So when you feel stressed, you just need to think, are you actually very stressed or are you not stressed? Maybe the stress is just making you stressed like a stressed chicken. So whenever things are so stressful, you just need to make sure that life is just about being the mango that you want. And of course, at every time when you feel that stress, do you wonder that you need to be out of that picky situation, or you want to be out of that challenging situation? You just need to just find a way, de-stress it off. Maybe a can of beer might solve the problem. A social gathering with friends might solve the issue, because when you share your issue with friends, you don't feel stress. And that's why Uncle Mango is very relaxed, because he wants his mango today, and it feels like being the mango today. Yeah, and I hand back to my good friend, Buckley. Over to you for Uncle Mango.
Thank you, Uncle Mango. You reminded me of the Wiggle song, Fruit Salad, Yummy, Yummy. Fruit Salad, Yummy, Yummy. We have strawberries, mangoes, bananas, you name it, we've got it. Yeah. Thank you, Uncle Mango. Next is, you were born to win, but to be a winner, you must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win, according to Zig Ziglar. You were born to win, but to be a winner, you must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win. Please welcome Toastmaster Karan Gandhi. You're muted.
Hello, Toastmasters and guests. So it's very rightly said that you are born to win, but to be a winner, you must plan to win, and then prepare to win, and then expect to win. Because things will not fall in place automatically. You have to set things in motion. Though you might be a son of a king, but then again you need to understand that what is a kingdom. You need to understand then how to behave in a kingdom. You need to learn the how all departments in the kingdoms are managed. And to understand them, you have to learn them. You have to prepare them from your childhood. You have to be groomed in such a way that you can become a capable ruler, a capable king. So, though you were born as a son or a daughter of a king, but still all that preparations, you need to do all that preparations to become a great ruler. Otherwise, you may become a king, but you will not become a winner. You will just ruin your own kingdom because you will not be able to manage it. Over to those table topic master of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Karen. This is very good advice indeed. For our next speaker, sometimes we have a task. Whatever the task may be, we look at the task and we think, whew, how am I going to climb that mountain? How are you going to climb the mountain? Please welcome Toastmaster of the evening, Ahmad Nur Hashim.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lee Buckley. Mountain is a symbol of the highest target in our life. If we want to go there, I think we need to some preparation physically. For example, if we want to climb the mountain, we have to do exercise every week, minimum 2 hours for 2 hours or 5 hours, because we need to fit and we need to much energy to climb to mountain. In psychological, maybe we need to improve our ability to smile, to patient, and also to persistent to do it. If we don't do it, I think we can go to the highest step, the mountain. It is symbol that in personal life or professional life, we have the high goal. If we want to go there, we have to spend more time, more energy to prepare it. Thank you to Master Lee Buckley.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. I do agree. I wonder how you prepared for tonight's role as the Toastmaster of the evening. Did you look at the role as this mountain in front of you? Or did you say, no problems, mate, no worries, bring it on? Oh, very cute son, hi. The next victim, I will let him have a choice. Edward, are you there, Edward?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
I'm well, and yourselves?
Good, thank you. Since you've just woken up to join our meeting, I will let you have the choice. Could you pick number 1 to 10 minus 5, please?
Number 9.
Number 9. Good choice. Everyone is ready to win. Few are prepared. According to Jim Garrett, everyone is ready to win. Few are prepared. Over to you, Toastmaster Edward.
Toastmaster President, Toastmaster of the evening, table topic master, fellow Toastmasters and guests, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. We all want to win. We all look forward to being on top of the podium, collecting the gold medal. But how many of us are willing to put in the work? How many of us are willing to sacrifice sleep, going out with our friends, going to a concert, spending time with family, to put in the work that is necessary to win? I have an experience way back in elementary school. I wanted to place first. I always placed third in academics, overall GPA. And that was without studying, without any preparation. But for me to place first, I had to put in the work. I had to study. I did not go to birthday parties on the weekend because I was studying my mathematics, my geography, my English, my social studies, my integrated science. I was putting in the work. And ultimately, at the end of the term, I did come in first. And the beauty about coming in first, there is only one first place. Only one person gets that honor. But too often, most of us aren't willing to do the work. We are contented to coast by on our natural ability. We become complacent. We become satisfied. Oh, well, I'm always in the top 10. I'm always in the top 3. But are we number 1? In our careers, are we satisfied just going to work? Or do we want to be the best accountant, the best computer technician, the best bookkeeper? Do we want to be the best? And if we want to be the best, does it not require us to constantly improve ourselves? Does it not require us to work hard, to go the extra mile? Yes, everyone wants to be number 1. Everyone wants to be a winner. But only too few of us are prepared to win. I urge you all, put in the work in order to win. Table topic master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Edward. I am prepared to work hard. I am prepared to be number 1, but I also hope for the best because I know if you're in my class, I have to accept the fact that I may come number 2 instead. Yeah. Thank you, Toastmaster Edward. The next topic we have is every battle is won before it is fought, according to Sun Tzu. According to Sun Tzu, every battle is won before it is fought. What do you think, Toastmaster Angela?
Could you repeat the question? Every battle is won before it is...
Yes, every battle is won before it is fought.
This sounds to me as if it was said by a military man, and my guess is Alexander the Great, and failing that, Napoleon or someone. But it applies very much to all of us. And I appreciate our previous speaker who talked about preparing to be first and not third, just relying on your ability, because I've done that. I've been third or second in so many contests, and I've always entered because if you're lucky, somebody goes over time, and even if you were fourth, you can then come in third, and if you were third, you can come in second. And the very first contest I ever went in for, there were only 2 of us, but the top man, who was very experienced, was called away to South Africa on business. So I went from the club level into the area contest, my first contest in the UK. But at this point, as soon as you start moving up from your own little circle, you're facing other people who have done as you have done and achieved pretty well on their own ability in their own little circle. And at this point, like you, they will be coached by all their club members and all their friends to try and go 1 point better, because a contest is what it says. It's a contest between people. You're not just aiming to do better than yourself, although you are. You're aiming to do better than the other contestants who you know are working very hard to win, because they're under an obligation to all their supporters and in the case of Toastmasters, to all their Toastmasters club members. And this requires an inordinate amount of practice, because I've heard from the previous year's winners, and they were out every day at different clubs or at home practicing. So to become first in the contest, I know what I must do. I must practice every day, and that's why I'm here. Thank you. Good luck to all of you. Bye.
Thank you, Toastmaster Angela. It is true. We must have a battle plan. For example, No, who's a student, at the beginning of every trimester. You must have a battle plan, how you are going to tackle that trimester, how you are going to get that high distinction, how you are going to beat Edward in the class and become #1 for that trimester, right? The next speaker, we have a goal without a plan is just a wish. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Toastmaster Noriko, would you like to give that a try?
Hi, Lee. Good evening. Oh, good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Thank you for the goal without a plan is just a wish. I completely agree with this word because goals should be prepared and scheduled, and we have to make plans for step by step for the goal. But if we don't plan for anything, no schedule, no plans, no preparation, it's just wish. Oh, like for example, if I were a bird, I can fly. That's it, But I think the ancestors, they invested the airplane. I think they have a goal to fly by something, machines and equipment. This is their goal, but it is not wish. Of course, it's including their wishes, but it is a plan. So I think if we want to achieve our goals, any goals, we have to make a plan and prepare for the plan and do something for the schedule. The goals for every day. Just only small step need, not big steps, because in my experience, if I do something big step in day, I don't want to do anything next day. So I failed many times for achieve the goal. So I'm taking to small steps every day and achieve the goals. So I completely agree. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Thank you very much. Back to Lee.
Thank you, Toastmaster Noriko. That's right. Procrastination is our worst enemy. Just take baby steps, because the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, according to Lao Tzu. We have unfortunately come to the last speaker, lucky last. Now, all of you don't all rush at the same time. Okay? We can only have one lucky last winner. Who would that be? John D'Souza. Oh, if you want to unmute. Hi, how are you? For our lucky last.
Good, thank you.
That's good. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. Nice to be here too.
Likewise. Are you ready?
Sure.
Are you prepared?
Yes,
excellent.
I am.
According to Mark Twain, it usually takes me more than 3 weeks to prepare a good impromptu speech. It usually takes me more than 3 weeks to prepare a good impromptu speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Joan.
I disagree with Mark Twain that it usually takes me more than 3 weeks to prepare a good impromptu speech. I think it takes me more than years to prepare a good impromptu speech. A good impromptu speech requires many life examples, many falls, and many upliftments through failures. It's a story which is told through experiences, and those experiences are built through years, not just by 3 weeks or a year or 2 years, but years. For example, I cannot make an impromptu speech without telling a good, impactful story of my life, what messages I've learned, what I've learned from my failures, and what I've learned from my successes. So I disagree with Mr. Mark Twain that it takes more than 3 weeks to prepare a good impromptu speech. A good impromptu speech which comes through the heart needs experiences which are developed through years. So it takes years to give a strong message to and make people learn from your messages. Thank you, and back to you, Miss Lee Buckley.
Thank you, Toastmaster John. I agree. It takes me a decade at least to put together just the basic of introduction, body, and conclusion.
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your participation in the table topics section tonight segment. I would like to leave you with this quote: "Proper planning and preparation prevents poor performance. Proper planning and preparation prevents poor performance." Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lee Buckley, for many questions and all sections about preparation. And thank you for participants to respond for the good question. I agree that preparation is power and long journey to go to success. Without good preparation, we never get success. We do voting. Please vote. Toastmaster Alicia, could you share the information about time spent for all participants, who is qualified or not?
Yes, Toastmaster Day. I'm very pleased to announce and report that everyone has spoken within the time allocated, from the minimum they are required to the maximum. So congratulations to everyone.
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster Alicia. Before we begin the next section, the prepared speech segment, we will break 10 minutes to take rest. You can drink coffee and do other activities. We'll be back on 9 p.m. Singapore time. Thank you. Welcome back to Friday meeting of the Singapore International Online English Toastmaster Club. Fabulous Friday. We will now begin the prepared speech segment. In this segment, our member will present prepared speeches. In the meeting, we will listen and watch 3 prepared speakers. The first is Toastmaster Kanan Sankara. The second is Toastmaster Juan Du Souza. And the last speaker is Toastmaster Angela Lansbury. The first speaker is Toastmaster Kanan Sankara, and his evaluator is Toastmaster Juan. Juan, could you read the project objective? Over to you, Juan.
Okay. Can you hear me? And can you see me? Okay. So the purpose of this project is for the member to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of a previous experience as a prodigy. Back to you, Toastmasters.
No. I am speaking from level 4, motivate others. She's reading mentoring. I think
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. The purpose... Okay, hold on. 1 second. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. It is to motivate others.
Okay. Yeah, the purpose of this project is for the member to practice the skills needed to motivate team members through the completion of a project. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her experience motivating team members through the completion of a project. Back to you, Toastmasters of the day.
Toastmaster Johan. Now we will listen to prepared speech by DTM Kanan. He wants to be proficient in public speaking. His goal is to speak professionally without making grammar mistake. His speech title is Be Like Jonathan, Motivational Strategies Level 4, Building Skill, Motivate Other. You have 5 to 7 minutes. Over to you, DTM Kana. Let's welcome Toastmaster Kana.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day. Thank you, Madam Evaluator, for introducing me, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Recently, my storytelling coach gave me a book. I read that book, and that motivated me to do many things, to try out many things. I want to share that story with you all, and I also want you all to be successful. There was a village near a seashore. Every morning, many seagulls with long wings, fly to these shipping boats that goes for fishing out, and they eat the small bread pieces and the fishes that were lying on the fishing boat. They used to fight with them, and they used to eat those small pieces. Toastmasters, the seagulls thought they are made by God to live and eat every day. So they used to fight for those small pieces. And fellow Toastmasters, do you know how much height the seagull can fly? Because of its long wings, it can fly. It can fly is 120 feet. 120 feet. This was happening every day. There was one seagull by name Jonathan. Jonathan thinks differently. He's not like other seagulls. He thought, why I have to fight every day for those small pieces of bread and fishes? There are abundant fish available on the sea. Unfortunately, he cannot fly more than 120 feet. But he saw pelicans flying with the wings steady at even 5,000 feet, 4,000 feet without any issue. So fellow Toastmasters, he thought, I am not going to be like the normal seagull. I want to be a special. So he tried to fly more than 200 feet and then tried to catch a fish by diving into the sea. Well, guess what happened? He fell flat on the sea. It is a disgrace to fail while flying for a seagull. But never mind, he failed. He tried it again. After some time, again he fell because he could not control the wind. His parents were ashamed. They called for a meeting. Come on. All the seagulls were there. I am disgraced by your behavior. We are seagulls. We are born to eat and live to eat. And then we should die. Why you want to fly high and get yourself into trouble? Next time you fly high, we will disown you. Fellow Toastmasters, for 3 to 4 days, Jonathan tried to fight for those bread pieces. Then he changed his mind. Once again, he watched a pelican on the sky. He was going steady with a short wing. Aha, that is the trick. I am having a long wing, so I could not control. So this time, he shortened his wing while flying. So he went 500 feet, 600 feet, 700 feet without any issue. He's able to come and catch these delicious fish and insects without any problem. He was very happy. But his parents were not. They called for a meeting and all the elderly seagulls said, we are going to disown you because flying is not our cup of tea. We need to eat near the shore and then we have to live. That's all. Jonathan is different. He tried many techniques so that he could fly for a long time. He could fly at a height, 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet, 3,000 feet. He was able to do anything. Fellow Toastmasters, why I am telling this story to you? We all like the seagulls. We want to join Toastmasters just to spend time and to speak a couple of speeches. We need to have a goal. We need to try our passion. As parents, believe me, even including me, we tell our friends, we tell our kids, study very well, take good grades, become a doctor, engineer, or IT guy, get married, get settled, make babies. That is how we think the life should be. If a person is different, if a kid is different, we feel that we should disown them because we are not happy to be like that. We want them to follow like this. I want to tell you all, let the kid be as they are. Let them follow their passion. We also need to follow our passion. It could be a painting, it could be a dancing, or it could be singing. It could be a Toastmaster, it could be mentoring, but follow your passion. Do not be like other seagull. Be like Jonathan so that you can achieve many great things which are in your inner strength. Use your inner strength to excel. Fellow Toastmasters, I urge you, don't follow a ready-made pattern. You need to have your own passion. You need to go and enjoy whatever passion you have. I'm going to close this, fellow Toastmasters. Do not be like other seagulls. Be like Jonathan and be happy and follow your passion. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sankara. I especially love the good question. Follow your passion. If you want to reach something high goal, please do differently. Let's move on to our second speaker. She is Toastmaster Don Duza. And his evaluator is Toastmaster Aaron Lang. DTM Aaron Lang is creator of online appendix zone club advisor Singapore online club. His recent achievement completed 11 path in pathway program, district 18-9 table topic, second place join online international speech champion, and triple crown in the 3 district within 1 year. Toastmaster Aaron, could you read the project objective?
Thank you very much, sir. Related to the speaker's projective, it will be related to analyzing the thoughts and feelings and impacts on her response to others, and she has to share her experience of the project in this speech today. Good luck with that. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aaron. Let me introduce our second speaker, Toastmaster John. Her name is John D'Souza.
I'm Joan D'Souza, yeah. No, that's okay, no, yeah.
She is mother of 2 awesome girls and a very supportive husband. CS is constantly looking for opportunities to push herself. His speech title is Staying Engaged, Dynamic Leadership Level 3, Increasing Knowledge, Focus on the Positive. Toastmaster John, you have 5 to 7 minutes. Please take the stage.
I'm really privileged today that I have to follow Kanan's speech because my speech is totally aligned to what he's talking. I totally understand when he's trying to say, be like Jonathan. Do not follow the normal pattern of other seagulls. And that is exactly what I did. President, fellow Toastmasters and guests, I come from a society where accepting challenges is abnormal. It's not just abnormal, but it's shocking. I come from a society where accepting risks is considered amazing or in a very negative way, unacceptable. In the midst of all this, growing up in a society where it just follows a ready-made pattern, growing up in a society which follows a non-challenging pathway, I took 2 challenges in my life. One was to take up driving, and second was to do a mid-career change. My first challenge was driving, and everybody was shocked. There are trains and there are trams and buses. Why do I need to drive? But I wanted to be different. I wanted to accept challenges in my life. I wanted to fly, exactly like what Mr. Kanan said, like Jonathan. I wanted to be different. I didn't want to follow a ready-made pattern. I entered my driving instructing school for my first test. I sat with this person. He looked different than me. He spoke differently. He thought differently, I thought. And I was very nervous. I thought I am going to fail even before I started. Why? Because he looked different and he spoke different. I came up to the first stop sign. I failed completely to stop. And what happened was I really flunked. Not because he looked different, but because of my mindset that he looked different and I completely stopped at the stop sign. Second challenge, second time I entered the driving school again because I had flunked for the first time. Again, I had the same mindset. He looked different, he spoke different, so I'm going to fail. And he already knew my driving style too, that I don't stop completely at the stop sign. What happened was, again, I failed. Not because of his looks or because I failed to follow instructions and I took a left instead of he asking me to take a right. My second challenge in my life was my mid-career change. I took a mid-career change when my kids were too small. My instructors would call on me and I would not answer. Not because I was unprepared, but because I had the mindset that I was not prepared well. I was all up night taking care of my kids and have not studied well. I could have just followed an impromptu style of speaking and I could have answered. What happened? I did so miserably in certain tests. Again, my mindset was that I'm constantly, not prepared well, and I was putting myself down. So what I wanted to tell you was that it's really important to have a positive mindset in the midst of all challenges. Whatever you undertake, whether you take anything, whatever task you undertake, be positive. Think positively of the person. You will be well prepared and you will have a good mindset. And if you're taking driving tests like me, you may not have to go through 3 driving challenges like what I did, and you would pass on the first attempt. Think positively of the person. When you take career changes like this, don't think of your, demerits, like you have children or you're not well prepared or example anything. but stay always positive and you will do well, even if you have tests or whether you want to pass an exam or whether you have an interviews. Go with a positive mindset and you will pass. So my conclusion here is that stay positive and undertake challenges in life with positive mindset and you will do very well. Thank you so much, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Joan. Amazing speech. That was remarkable speech, especially positive mindset. If we have it, if we have positive mindset, we can solve our problem. Thank you. It is time to introduce our last speaker. She is Angela Lansbury, and her evaluator is Jennifer Lim. Toastmaster Jennifer, could you read the project objective?
Yes, good evening all. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice developing and presenting a longer humorous speech. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jennifer. Angela is immediate past president of Bradel High Advance, member Tampines, Advance, UK, member Herifians, and also member of our club. Her speech title is Planning to Fail, the Delights and Disaster of Giving Speeches. Engaging humor, level 5, demonstrating expertise, deliver your message with humor. The speech is long, from 18 to 22 minutes. Toastmaster Angela, please take stage.
Thank you. Hello, Toastmasters. How many of you have given at least one speech where you forgot something? Hands up if you did, or hands up if you saw a speech where someone else forgot something. The most important thing is not to forget the entire speech. I have good news for you, because as you get more and more important, there are other people who will remember the speech for you. If you are invited to be an ambassador and to speak at the United Nations, someone else will write your speech. What could go wrong? I shall tell you what could go wrong. First of all went well. The Portuguese ambassador stood up, he had his speech, and he put it on the lectern, and he read it. Good afternoon. I'm delighted to be here at the United Nations. I'm delighted that so many people here speak Portuguese, and so on and so forth. He got a rapturous applause, and then the Greek Prime Minister stood up, and he said, "Good afternoon, members of the United Nations. I am delighted to be here, and I'm delighted that so many of you speak Portuguese." He carried on, and about 4 sentences further, members of the audience and he realized that for some reason he was talking about Portugal and not about Greece. All of a sudden, up jumped his assistant and put down the speech for the Greek ambassador, and the assistant to the Portuguese ambassador grabbed away the speech for the Portuguese ambassador, because the speech for the Portuguese ambassador was left on the lectern. Oh, can you imagine? So, what could go wrong? Now you see, I just dropped my speech, but I picked it up. When I was in England, as I am now, as a member of Harrovians, at our annual contest, we invited the Mayor of Harrow to come along and speak to us. And we asked him to open by telling us how he gave speeches and how many he gave. We felt ourselves challenged to write a speech every fortnight. Those of us who volunteered to give a speech every fortnight, the Mayor of Harrow told us he gave a speech every day, in the morning, and a speech every day in the afternoon, and a speech every day in the evening. Can you imagine? And he asked at the end, any questions? Yes, I said. Where do you keep them, and how do you make sure you've got the wrong or the right speech? He said, I have all 3 speeches in my top pocket altogether. Yes, something did once go wrong. I took out the speech to be delivered to a primary school in the morning, and by mistake, I took out the speech to be delivered to the old age pensioners in the afternoon. And I started, I'm delighted to be here with an audience who look old but feel young. That was okay. And then I said, now that you have retired and stopped working, he said, then I realized I was reading the wrong speech. I learned from that to number my speeches 1, 2, 3, and to always have them in order. The first speech is at the front, the second speech is after that. When I finish with the first speech, it goes at the back. So the front speech is always the one I'm giving. Now you know how to give 3 speeches in a day. I bet you hadn't thought of that challenge, had you? So far, so good. How many of you have been to a wedding where the best man fumbled through the speech? I went to a friend's wedding and the best man stood up and said, I've just come to say thank you, and sat down again. We thought it was a joke. The MC thought it was a joke. He said, very funny, now I think he's going to come back and carry on. He didn't come back and carry on. So the poor Toastmaster of the day had to say, well, a man of few words, but the most important words, and carried on. So, what happens if you forget your speech? The secret is you don't forget your speech. You have a prop, for example, and one that you can't forget. Now you may notice I'm wearing a hat. I'm also wearing a wig. Now usually in the olden days, I would have 3 hats for my introductory speech. A hat representing England, a hat representing America, and a hat representing Singapore for the 3 stages in my life. Then, of course, there was all a whole hoo-ha picking up the right hat. The solution is you don't hunt for your prop, you have it on you. So I come on wearing already my cowgirl hat to mention to you later. I can't lose it. What else can you have ready that you can't lose? A fan. You may see behind you my fan. I can't lose this fan. It's a big fan. I hope you're a big fan of Angela. But what I usually do is I have a small fan, and on the back of the fan I have the words to my speech. And there I use my fan, and if I forget the words of my speech, I hold it forwards. Now I'm being hit on the head by a fan. What else can you do? Here I have the lid of a box of chocolates. And guess what I've got inside the lid? Of course, I have the words of my speech. So the moral is you always have a backup. You have your speech written down, you memorize it, and you have the props which match your speech, so you can't forget it. You can't forget the speech, and you can't forget your props. Now, what can you do to get attention? So far, so good. You've got your hat, your wig, or whatever else you're going to do to get attention. But you might want a sound, a noise. I like puppets. I will show you some of my puppets. My speech is only supposed to have 3 items, so this is all puppets, so that's just 1 item. For example, here's a puppet. My puppet can talk, and I can talk to my puppet. I don't have to be a ventriloquist. I can have a puppet which is silent. There are even people who have stooges. There's a very famous act where there was a small woman and a tall woman, and the small woman, who was a comedian, would look up at the tall one and would say, "She knows, you know," whenever she was saying something funny or raising a laugh, and the tall stooge would simply look, make faces, not have to say anything. So you can have a prop that doesn't say anything, or a person who doesn't say anything. What happens if you have a prop that makes a noise? You can come a cropper. I came a cropper once. I had, for my speech, a horse, one of those on a long stick, and what happened was it had something that said "press here," but the "press here" thing had fallen off, and the "press here" was on one of the ears. So I pressed it and it went hee-haw, hee-haw, and then I pressed it again and it didn't stop. So then I pressed the other side and it went hee-haw, hee-haw. So I pressed that side and I kept on doing this and it kept interrupting me and going hee-haw. The audience was in absolute stitches. In the end, I couldn't stop the damn thing, and I walked across the room and dumped it in a waste paper bin at the far end of the room and came back and finished my speech. Luckily, it was a humorous speech, and I won the speech of the day. The moral is, you've got to know, memorize whether it's the right or the left, so that even if the thing that says "press here" falls off, or you decide to take it off because that gives the game away, you still know which it is. So this is left. You're right, but it's my left. So I press. I told the witch doctor I was in love with you. And then the witch doctor, he told me what to do. Stop. See, I managed it that time. So now you know what to do. You might be saying, well, these props, wasn't that very expensive? Yes. I picked up this prop at Christmas time in a supermarket. In fact, I picked it up in January when they reduced them to half price, after everyone had bought all the toys in the sale. And you might imagine I have a lot of props. Do you think I have a lot of props? Any guesses? How many think I've got 4 or 5 props? Hands up. Alicia. How many think I've got about 10 props? Hands up. Nobody? How many people think I've got 30 or 40 props? Well, yes, probably. I've got flags. I've got things for talking about weddings. I've got props for talking about first aid. I've got more props which make a noise. I've got, besides, anything is a prop. Here's a ruler. That was a prop to tell you to measure your success. A pair of scissors to tell you to cut out bits of your speech you don't need. A pen to say always have your speeches written down. I can make a prop out of anything, but I have loads of props. I have all kinds of props. For example, I've got glasses. I've even got a banana for Mr. Mango, a banana. I've got stethoscopes, and I once gave a speech to a friend's anniversary. I think it was their 60th wedding anniversary or something like that. They're now in their 90s. And I said, how many people think I've got a piano with me? And I pulled out the piano. Then I said, how many people think I've got another piano in my handbag? And half said yes and half said no. I had a second piano, a roll-up piano. And I said, how many people think I've got a third piano? And half of them said no and half of them said yes. And I brought out a third piano. So there's no end to the props you can have if you want props. And they just invite you to tell stories. Now, I would like to ask the timer how far I've got, because the screen is white. I can't believe I haven't been talking for 15 minutes. Timer, Shan, can you come in and tell me my time? Looks like I can carry on. The timer has gone to sleep. Anybody know how long I've been talking? Looks like I can talk forever. Well, I should talk for just a little time longer.
It's about 15 minutes, Angela.
So I've got 3 minutes to go. So I now refer subtly to my chocolate box with my notes on the back of it, which tells me I should talk about my hat, my fan, and holding your attention, which I've done. I'm now going to summarize and remind you what I've said. First of all, when you're a VIP, somebody else will write your speech for you. But make sure you've got your speech. If you're giving 3 in a day, have them in your pocket, have them in order. If you are the best man at a wedding or giving a very important speech, and don't forget to the audience, whatever speech you're giving is a very important speech, especially if they paid for it. You should memorize your speech. Don't write it on your hand. I did that once when I was in stand-up comedy. I shook hands with somebody. They had clammy hands and half my speech came off on their hand. And then I stood under a spotlight and I couldn't read what was on my hand. Forget that. Have your speech written either behind a prop, such as my chocolate box, or behind a fan. So you should not forget your speech. If you've got a prop, try to have a prop you can wear, such as a hat, and have it to hand. And if you've got a prop which makes a noise, like a toy, make sure when you cut off the sign that says press here, you practice and remember which side is going to turn it on and which side is going to turn it off. Otherwise, you press the wrong thing and you find that it suddenly starts all the way through your speech, and you don't want that to happen, do you? So, that is what I have to say to you. Need help with props. I am the queen of props. So please come to me. My phone number in London is different to the one in Singapore, but you know where to find me, don't you? My name is Angela Lansbury. Happy speech giving. Good afternoon from London. Good evening in Singapore. Good morning in other parts of the world. Have fun giving speeches. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Angela. Your speech is wonderful. I like when you use simple thing like roller, banana to support your story. Before we begin the last segment, I invite Toastmaster Sansan. Could you share the information about time spent for all speakers?
Okay, Kanan's speech is 7 minutes and 12 seconds. John is 5 minutes 11. Angela is 60 minutes 33 below time.
Thank you. We do voting. Please vote. Okay. Before we begin the last segment, evaluation segment will be break 10 minutes to take rest. You can drink coffee again or do other activities. We will back on 11 p.m. Singapore. Thank you. Welcome back to Friday meeting of the Singapore International Online English Toastmaster Club. Now, we will begin the last segment, the evaluation segment. In this segment, our evaluator will present an evaluation for speaker, 2 to 3 minutes for every evaluator. This segment will be led by me. The first evaluator is John Dozier. She will evaluate the speech of Toastmaster Kanan Sankara. John is mother of 2 awesome girls and a very supportive husband. Her is constant looking for opportunities to push herself. Over to you, Toastmaster John.
President, fellow Toastmasters and guests, thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity to evaluate Mr. Kanan. Mr. Kanan is a powerful speaker. I can see that. I could see and I could feel he has a very powerful message for us. Follow your passion. Under any circumstances, like Jonathan, fly like a pelican, not follow the routine, normal, ready-made pattern like how the other seagulls were following. Don't go for crumbs, but go higher, fly 5,000 feet. And even if you fall, get up again and start flying and go for your passion. Be different. That was a very powerful message for me. His vocal variety was so awesome. He knew exactly where to take pauses and where to continue his message. And lastly, he kept me rooted throughout. I could never even take off my ears or eyes from what he was saying or speaking. My ears were right there. What I would like to add to Mr. Kanan is thank you for giving me this difficult, challenging opportunity to first of all evaluate such a powerful speech. Only one thing I thought was missing, and that is just my personal opinion, which I feel that you could have done better off, is by giving a personal story. Next time, please try to give a personal story. I feel that would be more impactful and it would be more relatable. Give us a personal story about how you fell and then you rose up again. That would be actually more motivating, especially for someone like me. So to summarize again, your message was great vocal variety, you kept me rooted, your audience awareness, great pauses, but next time try to please add a personal story of how you fell and how you rose up again like Jonathan and how you followed your passion. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmasters of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster John. I agree with Toastmaster John and Toastmaster Kanan. Follow your passion and, of course, give personal story because we have much story, personal story. The second evaluator is Toastmaster Aaron Leong. He will evaluate the speech of Toastmaster John. DTM Aaron is creator of Online Attendance Zone, Club Advisor Singapore International. His recent achievement is completed 11 path in Pathway Program, District 18 9 table topic second, please join online international speed champion, and triple crown in 3 districts within 1 year. Over to you, Toastmaster Aaron.
Thank you very much, fellow Toastmaster and most distinguished guests. It's my honor to be evaluating Joan on her speech related to focus on the positive. Now, focus on the positive is really a kind of a speech that really focuses on a reflective journal of what you have experienced, how it impacts the interactiveness, etc. So I'm going to evaluate her based on her relevancies to the speech objective and also some comments whereby I can help her to improve. Now, what Joan actually did really well in the start is that she utilized the speech that Kanan has just made, creating a very nice immediate chemistry that makes us feel connected with her speech. Now, this focus on the positive can be kind of boring. I mean, like if you think about any of the journals, it can be, but she made it engaging. She focused on 2 main points. One of the things that really highlights to me would be the driving class. Now, the driving lessons has been one of the things whereby I feel I'm very engaged of the story outlines and how it actually can portray on. Now, the objectives of this speech itself, if it's related to her speech itself, it has to contain some interactions, the conversations, not just saying that, oh, he talks, he actually explains, etc. I want to see the details. I want to see more of the reactions or response that he says, you say, he says, you says, and there is a kind of an impact that will influence each other. This is really the essence of that speech itself. But she did really well in fantastic that part of highlighting the elements of positivity. Now, I noticed that she spent around like 3 minutes at the end, mainly really focusing on why positivity is really good, etc. Now, if you read the manual, so I'm not truly challenging it, being someone who have finished all the paths, doing this project, it has been kind of crazy for me. When I look at this project itself, I would like to share with you some tips. Now, this relates to a few encounters. I would like to see some story outlines that goes straight within that conversation between you and the driver, the drive trainer. So really need that kind of in-depth. How would you respond differently and how would he react? Now, how do I actually link that to our current speech today is that if I were you, you will notice that people on the screen itself, you are doing I would say not really a look down on the camera. You focus on the audience and your script is directly on your right-hand side because I've been seeing your eyes looking at the right sometimes. So now these are some tiny details I don't really pick too much on, but for you, this can be something that you can learn from your reflective journal and apply to this very moment. If you actually do that, it shows how much you have learned, and that will definitely excel in showing the purpose of this speech. Now, I didn't say that you don't pass this one. You definitely nailed it. You actually talk about quite a lot of details of the positivity, the essence of it. Now, the challenge point is more elaborative stories. I want to see more storyline that really highlight this positivity out there. Not just simple conversations, but more in-depth visualization conversations. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aaron. I like his voice. I listen like analyst politics from BBC London. Thank you. The last evaluator is DTM Jennifer Lim. She will evaluate the speech of Toastmaster Angela Lansbury. I will introduce Jennifer Lim. Friends call her Hot Mama. She likes reading to gain knowledge, singing to improve her vocal variety, and dancing to keep fit. She is currently Secretary Singapore International Online Club. Over to you, Toastmaster Jennifer.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. Good evening, Club President, fellow Toastmasters, and especially to you, Angela. You are indeed always a very good speaker, and you are very well prepared. You actively engage your audience by asking them questions, and that's very good. You have been asking the audience things like, how many props do you think I have? And some said, you ask like 5, 10, and so on and so forth. But apparently, you are indeed the queen of props. I must learn that from you. The other thing that I learned from you is how to hide some of my words behind a fan. And apparently you're a fan of fans. Writing behind the fan as well as writing behind your chocolate box. Something that I can learn as a backup for my speech. And I liked your speaking puppet. That makes, it is humorous when I listen to your speaking puppet. And you have very good body language as well as vocal variety. Kudos to you. However, there are some challenges that I would like to bring to your attention. First of all, is the sound system. Honestly, it was a big challenge for me because I'm trying to fight the sound system, the feedback I get, and to listen to you attentively was quite difficult for me, but I tried. And the timer, you asked the timer what time, how much time you have. I would suggest that you actually pin the timer before you speak. Then at least you don't need to ask that question. And the other thing is, apparently you underutilize your time. You have something like 18 to 22 minutes, but you had your speech for about 16 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, you have more time to build on your content and perhaps more personal story that you can tell us. And because your project is to practice developing and presenting a longer humorous speech. So I would suggest that you use the time well, optimize your time. But overall, I must say your speech is good, and I look forward to listen to your next speech. However, please do take note of the points that I've mentioned, the time, pin the timer, and also the timing of your speech. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jennifer. We hope we will be better in the future. Thank you. I think our session is run. And before we close the session, we do voting for all evaluators. Okay. I will announce the winner of Double Topic Master, Prepared Speech, and Evaluator. Who is the winner? Where is the information? The winner of the best evaluator is Toastmaster Aaron Leong. And the best prepared speech is Toastmaster Kanan. The best for double topic master is Toastmaster Joan. Congratulations. Thank you, General Evaluator, double topic master, timer on all the team. I hope you enjoyed the meeting as I did. I quote Benjamin Franklin. He is the founding father of the United States of America. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Before we close the meeting, we will listen to the closing speech from our president, Mr. Willie. Over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, of the night. Fellow Toastmaster, what is the answer that Toastmaster cannot have tonight? Is it that he has been speaking every week? Or does he prepare enough? The answer is he prepared enough. That's why my opening message I mentioned, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. When you prepare well and you speak well, you're able to get notice. That's happened last weekend. We have a world champion speaker count 2021. I looked through all the 8 finalists and found what is the reason why this world champion speaker, Mike Carl, was the best. Because he prepared well. He have even used body language and make use on the stage. So you need, as a speaker, you need to learn how to prepare well. It's not about quality, it's about quality. So luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. I declare committee closed.